Hello, and welcome to Chitchatting with Chuck, brought to you by Solidarity Strategies, where Brown consultants matter. It's good to be back. This week is an exciting time, and I probably look exceptionally tired because it's primary season, and it's primary season in a number of great states. And a lot of states, guess what? Where a lot of Latinos live. So guess what? The Brown consultants, we're a little busy. Alabama, California, Iowa, Mississippi, New Jersey, and my personal favorite, New Mexico. There's lots of good primaries going on, and there's lots of Latinos working, and we're getting a lot of work done. There's exciting races happening. There's a lot of races actually happening in your area, I'm sure. You're probably going to be seeing this the day after the primary. And I want to think that you'll hear good names. You'll hear good names of good candidates who did great jobs, like Cisneros and Torres and Martinez and Lopez. Just listening to all those Brown names make me super excited. And I think we're going to have a really good day on Election Day. I think Latinos are going to be a big part of what we're talking about when people say there's a blue wave. I like to personally think of it as a brown wave. And I think the brown wave will push the blue wave right up onto the shore and give electoral justice to all of us good people who've been working really hard to elect good progressives all over the country. And Solidarity's been playing a big role in these elections. We've been sending text messages, robocalls, live calls, mail pieces, and we even texted a video message to supporters. We're proud to do this work, and it's good to do this work with a sense of cultural competency. We're very proud to get to work for these Latinos. Also very proud to work for some independent expenditures that we're advocating for clients that we align with ideologically. We use new techniques and new systems to try to reach these voters because we think that's the key. My staff shows me every day that people aren't just watching network TV like the old man is here, but there's new forms of communication through new media, through social media, through texting. And we've been lucky to be able to do that to make sure that we turn out the maximum vote that we can. There's been a real big uprising in new registrants since Donald Trump's gotten elected. Imagine that. A lot of people are upset, and now we've had new registrants. So we want to go talk to those people and make sure that they vote. If they're as aggravated as I think they are, we need to ask them to vote, educate them on who to vote for, and remind them to get to the polls. And don't forget, GOTV, get out the vote. Call your mother, call your grandmother, call your uncle that you don't even really like that much, because his vote counts just as much as yours does. That's why we text people. That's why we call people. In New Mexico, we were texting people. In California, we were sending Spanish language mail pieces. You need to make sure that you communicate and that we get out and tell people to vote. Because we know you, the people who are listening to the Solidarity Chit-Chatting with Chuck, you're going to go vote. I never doubted that for a moment. But it's your uncle, it's your aunts, it's people who need a little bit of encouragement. That's your job. And we count on you to do your job to help us get that vote out. So I hope that you voted. I hope that you got your grandmama to go vote. It's on to the next primaries. Next, let's talk about Guatemala and the horrible devastation that we've been reading about this week with the volcanoes. There are still people in Guatemala living in temporary structures. There's been a death toll of 69 to date, and we need to keep Guatemala in our thoughts and prayers. You know, just this week, I was with Guatemalan immigrant Jorge Elorza in Rhode Island, who is the sitting mayor of Providence, Rhode Island. Guatemala's had a great impact on our culture in America. They've produced some great leaders. Many people don't know this, but Norma Torres, a congresswoman from the Inland Empire in California, ancestry Guatemalan. Keep Guatemala in your thoughts and prayers, and think about somebody in Guatemala. And if you can donate to local charities, we highly recommend that you do that. It's never good when natural disaster hits unexpectedly. You know, I remember living back through what happened with Puerto Rico, and it seems there's one natural disaster after another. And again this week, TPS, Temporary Protected Status. Remember President Trump? He got rid of that. And people are still up in arms because it was not good. And it was not good for people who'd come here under asylum, people who'd come here looking for a better life. There was a whole group of activists in Chicago, Illinois. They marched all the way to the White House. And guess what they did? They let their voice be heard. And any time that a voter or a citizen or a resident or any of the above comes to our capital where we live and let their voice be heard, we want to rise and lift up those voices. They even had a mariachi band. God, I wish I would have been in town. I'd have went down there with them and served everybody breakfast tacos like we do in Texas. Let's keep holding their feet to the fire, because protective status is not just protective status for a few. It's protective status for everybody. It's good to be back with Chit-Chatting with Chuck. It's good to be back as our team expands ever more. We're excited to roll out new employees and new people who are going to help us close this gap at the end as we're pushing towards November and pushing for victories all over the country. Now, for you in Florida, For you in New York, and for you in many states, your primaries are still to come, and we're going to talk about those as well. There's a lot of great Latinos running in Florida, great Latinos running in New York, and we're going to be reporting on those issues. But until next time, come back to Chit Chatting with Chuck, and we look forward to having that conversation.